back at Advertising Week, New York for AW360. I'm here with Michael Strober of Turner.
Hey BJ, how are you?
Doing? Good to see you.
Same here.
So you are actually the co-head of Turner Ignite. What is Turner Ignite?
Sure, so Turner Ignite is a relatively new division we formed at Turner about 2 years ago under the leadership of Donna Speciale. It was created really to provide next generation portfolio capabilities that are centered around data and content. What I mean by that is we historically have been very much siloed in our approach to our clients. We had a news group with CNN being the key brand and headline news. We had an emerging consumer group focused on networks like Adult Swim and Cartoon Network and True TV. We had an entertainment group with TBS and TNT. And our approach was that we need to come to the marketplace with a client-first orientation, and we really should be focused on the client's business needs, not what we have to sell. And in order to do that, we needed to create capabilities that would traverse across the entire portfolio. And so then we created Turner Ignite, which is the solutions arm that creates those capabilities.
Great. In the recent edition of Ad Age, you guys did an article this week.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that article.
Well, the article was titled, "We Interrupt This Interruption with an Important Message." And I think it's very timely given that we're here all spending a whole week talking about advertising.
Yeah.
It's our belief at Turner that we need to reimagine television, and by extension, what does that mean for advertising? I think gone are the days where we continue to control the message and interrupt consumers' lives with these marketing messages. We need to find new ways to engage and delight consumers. We all know today very well that consumers have a range of choices in terms of where and how they want to consume their content. Some of it non-ad supported, others mostly ad supported. But how do we make that experience better for them? And that's really what we did in that article, and what we've been doing largely as a company is trying to help champion new ways of approaching advertising to make it more meaningful and valuable to consumers, and then by extension to the marketer.
Can we get into any specifics? What are some of the ways we can do that?
We looked at it on a host of ways. First, we formed Turner Ad Lab, which is an initiative that we started about 2 years ago as well, really looking at the voice of the consumer. What we wanted to do is really understand the need state of a consumer, how they consume their content, what are they looking for, how do they value the use of their data in marketing, and really get those insights to then inform a lot of the innovation that we've created. So right now we have a couple of products in the market. I oversee a lot of the data and analytics side of Ignite, and we created a couple of targeting solutions. So everyone thinks about targeting in digital. What we've been able to do now is actually allow some advanced data sets to help provide more precision for marketer to find audiences that they care about, that these are their intended customers, and give them ads and then give them the ability to then message those ads to consumers that will find those commercials and that product offering more relevant to them. I think that's an important thing. When we learned out of the Ad Lab, people don't mind advertising. They just don't want a lot of it, and they don't want stuff that isn't relevant to them. So the more precision we can bring to television. I mean, we're not addressable yet, so it's still a one-to-many approach, but at least when we're placing those advertisements, they're targeted to consumers who are likely to be receptive to those messages. So that's on the data side. Another area that we've been really focused on is on the content side. And this is getting back to the whole notion of delighting consumers, not interrupting them with their messages, or providing them a marketing message that's more relevant and more engaging. And so we've done a lot around native and branded content. So Dan Reese, who's my counterpart that heads the other half of Turner Ignite, his team is highly focused on developing branded content that we could create, really in some cases, to take the entire commercial pod, substitute it for all the commercials with one marketer's message. And to a consumer, it's actually really entertaining because they can watch the programming content, move into the advertisement content, but really get a lot of value there. And then what we've actually found is we've developed a in-house social agency who's able to take that branded content piece and then be able to find areas, it's called Launchpad, find areas and tribes of people that are like-minded who would be more receptive to that in their social media networks. So we've done that as well. So it's just early days in the creation of Ignite, but we are forging forward to try to find better ways to make advertising work for consumers and by marketers.
How are you able to place these ads or this content regionally, or is this for a show? Are we saying that this is like across the board?
So that's a good point, because one of the things we want to do is make this scalable. So that's why we extended it to the social networks. It's a little harder, and I think there needs to be more cooperation among publishers to be able to have branded content that has a lot of network-specific IP to be carried across a myriad of locations. It's more relevant when it's natural to the environment that the viewer is watching, but we've created branded content that extends across the entire portfolio at Turner. And as I said, across a lot of the social outlets. It would be nice to see if we could actually do it more broadly across the entire television landscape.
So data in TV has traditionally been a little difficult to collect. How do you go about collecting the data?
Well, we don't necessarily collect the data. We use data. We are collecting insights into our audiences. I think that's very important and something that we know our clients are very interested in. But the data that we use for audience targeting are usually third-party data sets that we either license or are syndicated. So to give you an example, Nielsen, who historically is known for measuring age and gender, they're actually very advanced. They have a lot of advanced data sets, single source data sets, where they actually integrate and fuse the Nielsen TV viewing panel with a company like Catalina, which is all the shopper loyalty programs. So having that data set is actually very powerful if you're a consumer packaged good. And now we can actually estimate where that audience of a particular laundry detergent or a shopper of yogurt, what programming across our slate of networks have the most appropriate placements for that specific audience segment. So we're using a lot of that type of data. We can use first-party data. That's another area that's, I think, really burgeoning. You're seeing more clients that have CRM or first-party data DMPs coming to us and looking for matches. So a lot of the things that were done in digital can now be carried over to TV. Not to the level of one-to-one addressability, but I think that's in time that will happen as well.
So we're looking more towards more smart television technology and things like that?
So definitely we are looking at smart TV networks that have ACR technology embedded in that, which is actually providing more line of sight into the viewers and the kind of content they're consuming. But right now this works across just general televisions. It's using the data sets. One of the things that I think people really don't understand or recognize is that in order to get into advanced TV and use audience targeting, television is still a futures market. You're buying today for something that's going to air maybe a week or a month or even a quarter from now. So in order to really do audience targeting effectively, you need to estimate where you think those audiences are going to be. So one of the things that we've done is been able to develop a model we've actually applied for patents on it, that allow us to be much more predictive of where we think the audiences are going to be that's tuning into that particular data set across the entire portfolio, not just by network, but literally by the half hour of each day.
That's great.
So that's really fascinating. Now we're creating inventory systems and allocation that are literally tied to a half hour by the day of the week based on that particular insight we have into that consumer.
Great. Future of TV, folks. Michael Strober from Turner, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, PJ. Thanks.
We'll be back with more AW360 from Advertising Week New York.